Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury and welcome to my channel. This is my daily vlog, so whatever I happen to be up to today is what you're gonna see here. Today, I'm gonna be cooking dinner, but I figured I would show you this really great way of cooking chicken cutlets. It's a technique called Sous Vide, and essentially it's like cooking in a slow cooker, but it's wet. And you use a pot and a sous vide machine, which looks like this. And I'll show you more. So let me show you how I make the sous vide chicken. So Mercury, what exactly is sous vide? What are you talking about? Okay, this is my sous vide machine. Okay, so it's like a stick, like a magic wand, right? And it plugs in. And what I'm gonna do is this will go into a tall pot full of water, which I will show you in a bit. All of my ingredients will go into zip-top bags, and they will cook at a low temperature for a long time. And it is the most tender and delicious way of cooking just about anything. So today I'm gonna sous vide some chicken. And I think I'm also going to throw an acorn squash in the oven. I think I'm feeling the autumn vibes. So let's get cooking. So whenever I'm cooking sous vide, I try to have 3 ingredients go with my proteins. I try to have oil, and in this case I'm going to use olive oil. Acid, and in this case I'm going to be using pumpkin pie flavored balsamic vinegar. See, I told you I was feeling the autumn right now. So we're going to use this pumpkin flavored vinegar to go with it. I've never done it this way before with this vinegar, so it's a little bit of an experiment, but I have high hopes. And I always put in some spices. So obviously salt and pepper. But today, to keep this autumn theme going, I'm going to use this gram masala. And I like to use this Penzeys brand for my spices. Let's see if it'll focus. Not on my face. Focus on the spice. There we go. So I use this Penzeys gram masala. And if you're not familiar with gram masala as a spice, I'll read you what's in it. Coriander, black pepper, cardamom, cinnamon, caraway, cloves, ginger, and nutmeg. So you can see why this is going to be complementing the autumn type of vibes that I'm going for. And then obviously my protein, in this case chicken. So what I'm going to do is 1 cutlet in each bag, and then I eyeball a little bit of oil, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of spices, enough to coat and, like you don't want to skimp on it, but you don't want to drown it either. So let me show you how I'm doing it. 2 bags, 2 big cutlets. So, cutlet 1, and cutlet 2. Okay. Great. Okay, so chicken's in the bags. Next up, vinegar. And just pour some vinegar in there. So just so you can see how much is in, because when we squish it around, it'll get good and coated. And a little bit of olive oil. Same thing, just a little splash. And the gram masala. Definitely threw at least a teaspoon in there in each bag. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna seal the bag and I'm gonna squish it around. And just be careful not to pop the bag while you're doing this because you need the bag to stay good and sealed. And also while you're doing this, if you feel like you don't have enough liquid in there, you could always add more. So you can see mine. I have a fair amount of liquid in there, so that's good. You can see it's pooling a little in the corners. This side does look a little bit drier, so I might add a little bit of liquid. Let's see how this one looks. And it's also really important to make sure you rub those spices around so they're not all just sitting in one spot. Yeah, so this one has the amount of liquid that I like to have in it. So you can see it's all nice and liquidy on that side, but it's equally liquidy on this side. I'm also just gonna add in a little salt and pepper. Same thing, just mush it around, massage it in. This one I just wanted to add a little bit more of the liquids in. So just a little splash of each. And then while I'm at it, a little salt and pepper. There. Okay. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna try to take out as much of the air from the bag as I can. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to zip top the bag most of the way. I'm gonna stop here. And what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna push this flat and try to get all that liquid onto the chicken. So you don't want it pooling in that corner, that overhang, right? We're gonna fold. And then we're gonna push again. Be careful not to pop the bag. And that's also why it's important to leave the bag open. Then we're gonna fold again. And again, just flatten it out a little bit. Don't push too hard, just try to flatten it, try to push the air bubbles out. And then that last fold, and now seal the bag. The bag has to be sealed when you're cooking it. And I'm gonna do the same thing over here. So, this one is fully sealed. So, opened it up a little bit, right? Trying to push the liquid all onto the chicken side. And we're gonna flip this chicken over and push the air out. And flip the chicken over and push out the air. And again. And now we're gonna seal the bag. There we go. And just double check that it's good and sealed. And we have 2 little chicken packets. And you can tell that most of the air is out. You can see how flat this got. Yeah, there's a little bit of air in there, but it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So now we have our 2 chicken packets. So now let me go over to the sous vide machine setup and let me show you how that's gonna work. This is how the sous vide machine connects to the pot. So I'm gonna spin this so you can see. You see it has this little like vice clamp right here where this twists and you tighten it on, and that's how it connects to the pot. And when you're done, you just untwist it, so righty tighty, lefty loosey, and it would just come right out. So we have this connected on here. Right over here, that's a maximum line. So if you're putting this into a pot, the water can't go above that line. There is a minimum line as well, but it's already submerged. The other thing you'll notice is the digital readout. So my sous vide machine from Innova is pretty fancy, and I can either set it manually on here, or they got an app for that. So this sous vide machine comes with the Innova Nano Map. And you'll notice at the very top, it tells you the current temperature, which is 79.9 degrees, the set temperature, and the time. It also has a lot of recipes. So you have a steak recipe, a chicken recipe, and fish, and you can search the recipes. There's a guide, and you can go through it, by category. You can have favorite recipes in here. A lot of options. So for my chicken dish, it needs to be set at 150 degrees. That temperature. Sometimes I have to delete it and re-enter it. And then I start the Innova. Once it comes to temperature, then I'll set the timer. Now that the sous vide machine has come up to temperature, see it's 150 degrees. I'm going to take my little packets of sealed chicken, and they're going to go right in there. And you do want to just sort of poke them down in there to make sure that the chicken is fully submerged. Sometimes if there's any air, they might try to float away, and we don't want that. And you do notice the temperature drops at first, but that's normal because the chicken is colder than the water. So now, we're going to use the app. Set the timer. This is going to be 1 hour. Set time. And look at that. I just took the chicken out of the little plastic bags, and I just put both chicken breasts into this Tupperware. And I just want to show you how tender this is. I'm going to use this butter knife, right? So this is not sharp at all. And this is just melts right through the chicken. It just falls apart. It's so soft. This is what dinner's looking like tonight. I got a couple of pieces of acorn squash and some chicken. So I did say this was a bit of an experiment because I never used this pumpkin vinegar on my chicken before. So let's take a taste and see how this turned out. I taste so much more of the gram masala than of the pumpkin vinegar. I almost feel like the vinegar just sucked into the chicken and really tenderized it, but I'm not getting that strong vinegar flavor. Let me try another piece. Yeah, it's not a strong vinegar flavor at all, but it definitely is a complementary flavor. Quite delicious. And this chicken is so tender, it's just absolutely falling apart in my mouth. I barely have to bite down on it. It's just melting with each bite. It's delicious. And that's one of the great things with sous vide. The other thing is if you ever do sous vide and you want it to have a little bit of a crunch or a sear on it, you can do what's called a reverse sear, where after you take it out of the pouch, you throw it into a pan to just really quick get a little char on it. But I love how soft and tender this is, so I don't necessarily find that necessary. So let me taste my squash here. See how this is. So for the squash, I cut slices, and I put a little bit of honey, a little bit of olive oil, and some cinnamon. That is delicious. That is a good autumn flavor. It just, brings me into that pumpkin fields kind of a mindset. That very tasty. So I'm going to finish chowing down. I'm hungry and I need to put this in my face. So with that, I'm done, and I will see everybody tomorrow. And until then, stay inspired by everyone. Take care.